What's going on, trainers? As always, we've got some super exciting news in the world of Kardmi. We have got a brand new feature coming in Season 2 that will elevate your gameplay and help you mix up your team composition even more. It's probably one of the most exciting features that I've seen come to Kardmi yet, and definitely something that is completely unexpected. What is it? Well, it's a brand new skill type that will completely change the way you play the game. Let's dive into it. So right off the bat, I just want to apologize if I sound kind of weird in this video. I haven't been feeling the greatest. That's also why I haven't been putting up a whole lot of content this week. But recently we did get some really good sneak peeks at Season 2 coming up, and I wanted to go over this because, guys, like I said, this is game changing. So we have a new feature called Dreamscape Skills, and you're going to unlock these once you hit the new city. There's one for each element, and they can only be learned your Kardmi can only learn one of them. Now, you can change them, how this feature is going to work, you can change them, but it will replace the Dreamscape skill that they currently know. These moves are going to be exceptionally powerful, that's the reason that you can only learn one of them per Kardmi. And I think it's really going to shake up the meta. I would really be curious as to if these moves are going to be available in the arena and the PvP in general, just because they're that powerful. And you'll see what we're talking about. As I said, there's one of each element, so there's 10 in total. We're going to get started. We're going to look at each one individually, talk about what they do. Obviously, there'll be a gauge as the battle progresses that allows you to fill up and eventually use your ultimate move. So, coming in at number 1, we have a Dreamscape Tide. I may shorten these names just because a lot of them have Dreamscape, except for one. Only one doesn't have Dreamscape. So if you hear me say like Tide or Avalanche or Thunderbolt, just know Dreamscape should come before it. That way I don't have to keep repeating Dreamscape. Anyway, Dreamscape Tide. This is all allied targeted excuse me, all allied targets recover energy equal to 100% of max energy. So this is a move that you're going to want to use deep into a battle. Once your Kardmi are exhausted and you really don't have many options to kind of switch out, this is going to be your kind of refresh. Get your Kardmi back to where they were at the beginning of the battle, energy-wise. Huge. That's incredible, guys. Let's move on to Avalanche. It says once targeted, the speed of all enemies is reduced by 50%. Pretty good move. Definitely, if you prioritize high speed type teams, really going ahead and give yourself the edge and pretty much guarantee that you're always going to have the first hit in every round. I like it. I don't think it's not as useful as Dreamscape Tide, but still, it's gonna have its place, and it's a very strong move nonetheless. All right, let's look at Thunderbolt. It says inflicts paralysis on the enemy target and reduces their special attack by 50%. That's pretty good because paralysis in itself also slows their speed by I think it's like 25 or 30% as well. So you kind of get a double whammy here when you use the Dreamscape Thunderbolt. That's a very powerful move, guys. Very powerful. We're going to move on to Dreamscape Fist, and it increases the user's attack by 100%. Extremely powerful. Doubles. It doesn't even say like a time frame. It doesn't say for a turn, for the battle. I assume it's for battle, right? And so you just have double damage the rest of the battle. And it'll be interesting to see how long it takes these charges to accumulate so that you can actually use these ultimate abilities. These, I believe, are really going to help you out in the late game, in the mid to late game and in game content, because it's really going to help push you and kind of give you an advantage over, like say, like some of the later arena leaders and the Elite Four. Now, that being said, it will be interesting to see whether or not enemy NPCs will also have be able to take advantage of these new skills. And that would be interesting if you have to combat that as well. But I don't know, just an idea. Moving on from there, we have Glaciate, which is number 5. Inflicts freeze on an enemy and spells 5 buffs. That's huge. That's huge because I don't know if you, again, going back to the end game, we know how quickly buffs and debuffs can stack once you're in the end game. So being able to dispel 5 buffs and freeze, that's game changing. Let's move on to Dreamscape Flame. This one inflicts burn on an enemy and reduces their attack by 50%. Pretty good. That's pretty good damage over time. I think the damage over time when it comes to burn in this game is pretty good. Like, those ticks take 30, 40 health off every turn. So that's a pretty good move. I think it's probably B tier compared to what we've read. But overall, still a powerful move all the same. Now, when we're talking about tiers, we're going to talk about an absolute S tier, SS tier, whatever you want to call it, the creme de la crop. We'll move on to Dreamscape Lotus, and that is all allied targets recover HP equal to 100%. So that's going to fully heal your team. This is the grass version of the Dreamscape Tide. Again, just pretty much a get out of jail free card. Extremely powerful move, and I think you're kind of silly if you're not running this move on your team. Now, I do want to mention, and I should have mentioned it earlier, that these moves, once you start a battle, you're going to have to pick a Kardmi to run this move on. Like, you can't stack them. You can't say, okay, I've got 2 Kardmi on my team on the field right now, I'm going to run two different Dreamscape moves. I'm going to use one on one turn and one on the other. You can't do that. So once you've used a Dreamscape move on a Kardmi in the battle, that's it. That's the only Dreamscape skill that you can use that battle. So you have to choose wisely and definitely kind of prepare for what the battle's going to throw at you later on down the road, or what you kind of predict will happen, and what skill you may need deep into the battle. That being said, let's move on to our last 3 skills here, with each of these being considerably powerful in their own right. Starting off with Wind, we have Dispel all debuffs and stat debuffs on all allies. Again, this is a team-wide move, very powerful, very good. It'll help you counteract those teams that are really kind of aggressive when it comes to debuffing your team and applying status effects. Really good skill. I'm sure it's going to come into play, like I said, later on in the end game, particularly. Moving on from there, we have Enlightenment. This is a really good skill, but these ones that only do the users, like this is, increases the user's special attack by 100%. That's double damage. Again, just like Fist, I don't really like this one as much, because while it is a good nuke option, it only covers one target. So whoever uses the skill is the recipient of this benefit, whereas a lot of these debuff the entire enemy team, or they buff or heal your entire team. I think those are much better options. So that's what I would roll with. I'm not saying there's not a place for Enlightenment and Fist, but I think these definitely probably are much lower tier than the other ones we've talked about thus far. And see, we're going to move on to the last skill, which I think is much more intriguing, and it is Endless Nightmare. All enemy targets cannot be replaced for 5 turns. This one, to me, seems like it kind of answers my question about, will PvP be allowed? Like, will this skill be implemented in PvP in any kind of way? And this seems like it answers that question, because it seems like I've never encountered an NPC that switches out Kardmi. I just never have. So unless that is coming into play, and that's a much bigger discussion, because that really will change the way that we play Kardmi and involve more strategy and planning on our part, or this is going to be kind of a PvP specific ability and kind of useless outside of it. We'll see. Either way, since we're talking about PvP, this is going to be incredibly strong if it's a PvP ability. If it's not, and NPCs are allowed to switch out now, this will also be incredibly strong, and I think probably one of the best options that you could use. But guys, that is going to do it for me. You guys let me know which of these Dreamscape skills that you are most excited for, which ones you'll be running on your team. I don't think Season 2 is not out yet, so I don't think that this will require anything crazy to unlock. From what I've heard, just reaching Munscape Town, most likely, just like the other towns, you'll have to battle a couple of the people in the arena, and it kind of progress the campaign a little bit, and then you'll unlock the building in which you unlock these skills. But if that changes, if I'm wrong about that, I will certainly make a beginner's guide explaining how to unlock them when that time comes. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you smash that like button if you learned anything, if this video helped you out. I will catch you guys in the next one.